Hey guys, Script here with another video. Star Wars has a major sequel problem. Can the franchise please move forward? Okay. Another day, another rumor of a Star Wars project being delayed or perhaps even shut down entirely. I think it's going to be shut down entirely. I tweeted that. The Rey movie's never going to happen. And I think they're just absolutely reeling after The Acolyte was so bad and so poorly received that I think they're going to just shut down everything they can. I think The Mandalorian and Grogu's going to keep going because that's the only side of the Star Wars brand that's not completely dead yet. Although, you know, many of us didn't like Season 3, it still has hope of being decent. I did review the leaked trailer, if you want to check that out. There's a couple things in it that are really, really cool, I'm not going to lie. And some of it, you're kind of like, meh. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think they're going to do the Rey movie at all. I don't see it happening. The guy who was supposed to write it is doing Peaky Blinders. Like, he's just like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm going to do my own thing. So, and he's starting his own studio and everything. So no, he's not doing it. The reason they say delayed is because they don't want to admit that they're not doing it. It's delayed. According to a tidbit from industry insider Daniel Rickman, Lucasfilm will not be shooting the Rey-centric film Star Wars The New Jedi Order this year, and that the project is reportedly on hold until the script shakes out. See? Because the guy who's supposed to write the script is doing... I can't remember his name. You guys would know. He's the Peaky Blinders guy. And he's focusing on that. He's not writing this script. And for some reason they don't just find somebody else. It's absolutely bizarre. It's a lot like the Dawn of the Jedi. Like, what happened to that? Remember that was all the news 6 months ago and there's nothing? I think they're really, really freaking out because The Acolyte, I think, just destroyed this brand finally, once and for all. The other thing about this script shaking out, like, the only thing I'm disappointed with Daisy Ridley is Daisy Ridley has been very open and honest about how the sequels were received. And I give her a lot of credit for that. She was open and honest about it. She was open and honest about her character's lineage, saying that even halfway through shooting The Rise of Skywalker, they still hadn't decided. She was really open and honest about a lot of stuff that I'm sure Disney probably didn't want her talking about to the media. And I give her a lot of credit for that. But what I don't understand is she was pitched a quote idea from Kathleen Kennedy and signed on without even having a script yet. And it used to be you wrote a movie script and then you... Like, if you've ever seen Get Shorty, that's how the Hollywood used to work. If you've ever seen Get Shorty, it's a great movie. Watch it. It's funny. It's with John Travolta, Danny DeVito, Rene Russo. Funny, cool movie. Anyways, you would write a script and then you would take that script to either a really prominent actor or a studio and get them to say, yeah, we should do this. That was, you sold your script. If you could sell it to a high-end actor, he can then influence studios because they're, such a big actor. Or if you can convince the studio themselves, then they'll bring on the actor. Whatever, doesn't matter. But that's how it used to work. Now they announce things before they even have scripts. Before they even know what they're doing. And it's really, 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 really weird. Sorry that there's a little bit of background noise right now, guys. There's just a lot going on. I got the dishwasher going. I got this going. So sorry about that if that's annoying you. But I'll do everything I can in post to minimize the noise in the background in the editing. But so I'm a little disappointed with Daisy Ridley that she signed on before even reading a script. Because her character was treated terribly. Sucks. Rey sucked. Mary Sue, all that stuff. And had real potential, and they blew it. At the same time, I don't blame her for signing on because she was offered $12 million. But I don't think this movie's ever happening, so I don't think she's ever going to see $12 million. But whatever. And like I said in a previous video, she's been doing a lot of these smaller drama films. And she did the one, the swimming one, which was quite good from what I'm hearing. But just from the stuff I've seen, she's becoming a pretty good actor. Like, she really is. A lot of people were critical of Rey. I thought she was okay. I thought her acting was fine. But certainly better than Mark Hamill in the original. But she's becoming a more seasoned actress, and she's good. I think her acting in this movie, if it ever got made, which it won't, but would actually probably be really good. Like all Star Wars rumors, we should take this with a Sarlacc-sized grain of salt because there has been no confirmation one way or another on when this movie would start production. A movie can't be delayed if its release timeline was never really made clear, which is, of course, their strategy because they don't have a plan. So this is what they do. They're all over the place. It was supposed to be next, and then Dawn of the Jedi was supposed to come out, and then all of a sudden Mandalorian and Grogu, which was supposed to be season 4 of that show, now is becoming a movie and is now going ahead of both of those other movies. Taika Waititi's movie's, quote, on hold. Rian Johnson's trilogy isn't happening. This is a disaster. And they're hoping that Mandalorian and Grogu can save this franchise because this franchise is done. If it doesn't, it's over. If it doesn't make a pile of money, it is over. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'm going to go see it in the theaters as much as I want to review it because I don't think The Mandalorian and Grogu is worthy of a movie. Season 3 sucked. And the first 2 seasons were a half-decent television show. I don't see that as movie. I don't see how you're going to go from TV to movie with this show. But whatever, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm totally off my rocker here. And if I hear that it's good, I probably will go pay money to see it. But I'm not just going to go day one. I'm not doing that. Even though I do really want to review it for my channel, I'm not doing that. However, it's been a full year since Star Wars Celebration 2023 revealed the existence of Daisy Ridley's movie, and recently the only Star Wars film to get an actual release date is The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is currently filming and scheduled to hit theaters on May 22nd, 2026. But according to Daisy Ridley, as recently as September of this year, she hasn't seen an actual script for New Jedi Order, though she has stressed that the idea pitched to her is a story worth telling. May 2026, remember all those people that said that the reason Solo failed was because it was released in May? And then there was a whole bunch of us that were like, no, it was because it was released after The Last Jedi ruined Luke Skywalker and destroyed our entire childhoods. You know? As Mark Hamill put it, this, don't expect this to, like, uplift your childhood. So, why are they putting out The Mandalorian and Grogu in May, then? Because they know it had nothing to do with that. They want to hit the summer movie real early. Lots of studios do this. They go late May because they want to hit the theaters and then have a long run throughout the summer that takes them, like, to the end of July or something like that. It's not going to happen with this movie, I don't think, but whatever. But it's just funny to me that all those people on Twitter, oh, Solo failed because it was in May. No, lots of Star Wars movies came out in the summer and in May. Like, how old are you? You don't know? So Ridley says it's a story worth telling. What is it, though? You were given an idea. There's no script. Like, this whole company is Bush League. While we don't know what the story is yet, the last decade of new Star Wars projects has taught us something about the state of the Force. Legitimate sequel stories that push Star Wars forward in its chronology seem to be the hardest thing for the franchise to pull off, but why? Yeah, I wonder too, and I did my Sequels Reimagined. They're on my channel, you can check it out. Like, the story was not that hard for me to write. It was pretty simple, but very impactful. And I think I gave everybody what they actually wanted with basically every character. Think about what you wanted for Ben. Think about what you wanted for Rey. Think about what you wanted for Finn. Think about what you wanted for Luke and Han. I give you that. Of the 11 theatrically released live-action Star Wars films, only 5 are true sequels in a chronological sense. When we broaden that scope to include other Star Wars movies like the non-canon Ewok films... Oh, are they non-canon? I didn't know that. I thought they were. And actually, I thought they informed the Ewoks pretty well with, like, the Gorlaks or whatever, those huge monsters. So then when you're watching Return of the Jedi and you're like, how do they have all this stuff set up to, like, deal with the walkers and all this stuff? When you watch the Ewok movies, they are fighting these, like, huge, giant, like, creatures, like these guys. So they had those things set up to deal with these monsters that were eating them or whatever. Anyways, so, okay, they're non-canon now. I don't even know anymore. Like the non-canon Ewok films in the first Clone Wars animated movie, we're also dealing with stories that take place in a pre-existing chronology. If you zoom out even more and factor in all the different TV series, you'll find that all of those shows live in the gaps between events in the 3 film trilogies. Yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi is a sequel to Revenge of the Sith, but it's also a prequel to A New Hope and a midquel between those 2 trilogies. Ditto the Mando and Ahsoka. You could perhaps view Ahsoka as a kind of a sequel to Mando and Rebels, but Mando is a midquel and Rebels is very much a prequel. Yes, they really want to have the ability to throw in the member berries. That is why they do this. When Luke showed up at the end of Season 2 of Mandalorian, people pooed their pants. And so strategically, it was a good move. Did it end up helping the story? No, it didn't do anything for the story. In fact, in the Book of Boba Fett, they make Luke an idiot and making Grogu choose, and he can't love his dad and be a Jedi. He's got to be one or the other and away from his family. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So they botch that too. Just like they botch anything good they do, which is few and far between, they botch in the end too. In fact, the release of The Force Awakens was positively transgressive in 2015, simply because it was a plain old sequel, the first of its kind since 1983. Now, no, it was a New Hope ripoff with a Mary Sue who just was a Jedi without training. It was ridiculous. And other than The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, precisely 0 other new Star Wars projects since then, from Rogue One to The Acolyte to the upcoming Skeleton Crew, have been sequels. Everything released, well, I will say this, The Acolyte attempted to change the prequels. Now, we're not accepting that as Star Wars fans. The Acolyte needs to be decanonized. I do not accept the changes that it makes to the prequels. But Leslie Headland, in her arrogance, thought she was going to change canon in the prequels and turn the Jedis into lying a-holes, which they are the opposite if you ever read anything George Lucas ever said about them. Doesn't mean they're perfect, but they're definitely not evil. Everything released in the Star Wars Pantheon now is wedged into the existing timeline, including the next film, Mando and Grogu, which takes place in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, hence the awkward CGI de-aged Luke Skywalker in Mando Season 2. Honestly, I didn't even mind it. I know there was a guy online did a better job, and I guess they hired him, which well-deserved. I'm so much more concerned with the storylines than the CGIs and stuff. It was good enough. It wasn't good, but it was good enough that I could worry about the story. Not to mention Ahsoka clumsily sending C-3PO to do Princess Leia's bidding, and Ahsoka, which was so corny. And look, it's C-3PO! See, that's why they do it in these timelines, folks. It's the member barriers. All contemporary Star Wars projects hover at the edges of the familiar content to create sideways continuity and new points of view rather than move the story forward. Yes! Changing the existing canon rather than leaving it alone and doing something else, which is many of us have been saying for a very long time. The arrogance of these people is beyond words. They're lazy and they're too lazy to do something brand new and fresh, and at the same time they're arrogant enough to think that they're going to make George Lucas canon in the first 6 movies better than what it already is. It's just so stupid. They're just idiots. As it stands, Shinoi's New Jedi Order is the only major Star Wars project that takes place in the future beyond the events of Rise of Skywalker. Whether or not we'll eventually get the movie Shinoi and Kennedy pitched to Daisy Ridley, it's unclear, but some kind of sequel to Episode 9 is crucial. From a storytelling point of view, Star Wars has become more reliant on most big franchises on its own past continuity. No, they can't now. And this is what I've been saying for years. The only thing they can do is decanonize everything that they've done. Because no one wants to see Rey. What conflict is she going to have that's going to be interesting? I've said this a million times. The use of the Force to heal is the same as the use of the Force to revive. And when she revived Ben, in canon, it says in the book that it healed his mind from the dark side, not only the wound that when she stabbed him. So, in other words, she could literally touch a dark side user and turn them from dark to good using the Force. Like sneak up on them when they're asleep or go, whatever, right? That sucks. It's lame. She's way too powerful. There's literally nothing she can't do. So what are you going to write? That's probably Stephen Knight's his name. That's probably why Stephen Knight walked away. Because he's like, there's nowhere to go here. This is stupid. You guys screwed it up so bad. There's nowhere to go with her. She's like the mega god Jedi. I have a video early in my channel when I talked about all the different things that she did that proves that she's not just a Jedi, she's a god Jedi. And it's boring. There's no struggle. There's nothing. You can make emotional faces and cry scenes all day. But when we all know nothing bad's ever going to happen, it's boring. It's the same with The Mandalorian now. We know that Grogu is simply a plot device so that when everybody's in trouble, he's going to stick his hand out. Nothing will ever harm Grogu. And as long as he's in the scene with the others, nothing will harm them either. And it's boring. It's boring. They've turned Star Wars into boring. At least the prequels were controversial. The sequels started off as controversial and ended in sheer boredom. There has never really been a true Star Wars reboot, meaning the aesthetics, canon, and various rules of its universe are strangely confining. What are you talking about? They made Rey know how to fight a Sith. Oh, he's not a Sith, even though he does everything like a Sith, has a Sith weapon, and thinks like a Sith. Whatever. Whatever he was, a 28-year-old vet, fully trained vet, and she handled him on day one of knowing what the Force even was. Strangely confining. As if these guys give a shite about lore and anything like that. A sequel in which the rules of the Force, the future of the Jedi, and the state of the galaxy are wide open is inherently exciting. They already opened it so wide that it's no longer exciting. There's no limits now. It's boring. It's also just healthy from a narrative standpoint. While The Force Awakens was a positive step into a new kind of Star Wars future, one where you don't train and you just do whatever you want, the storytelling also reverted the state of the galaxy back to a similar status quo of the original trilogy. The Resistance versus the First Order wasn't too different than the Rebellion versus the Empire. No, it was not. It was boring and lame. A sequel that is set after... Well, now, okay, it was boring and lame, but it could have been okay if it was well explained. They explained literally nothing. There was just an empire again. A sequel that is set after all of that, which is focused on Jedi in a new age, is exciting simply because we can't really predict yet where the story will take us or how it will feel. No, it's boring. Rey is too powerful. It's boring. Star Wars needs to be brave and innovative if it's going to survive. Certainly the Acolyte and Andor have given us elements of innovation and exciting new takes on pre-established events, yet these complex shows still deal with the past. Star Wars needs to take its focus off its beloved sacred timeline and break new ground in the future. We need Star Wars to do what Kylo Ren told us was imperative of the past. And they could have done that! They could have done that if they made Rey an interesting character, but she was a boring Mary Sue who just does everything and never has any issues, and it's boring. They could have done that. If she had been a normal, progressed character, having a normal arc with real challenges and problems... I mean, when I thought she killed Chewie, I was like, finally, something. And I was like, let him be dead. No, 5 minutes later, there's Chewie. And so she went through nothing ever in the entire thing. If she had gone through some stuff and was an interesting character and faced real challenges, you'd be like, boy, oh boy, like this, they can now take this forward. Episode 10, heck yeah, woo, let's do this. And it would be super interesting, because I like Daisy Ridley, and I like the potential of Rey's character. But they screwed it up entirely. And they should have just went with the EU. They should have just done the Solo twins. You know, even if you don't make them twins. In my Sequels Reimagined, I just I re-edited a lot of Disney's footage. And so I made her a Solo, but she's just the younger sister. Fine, whatever. Something that connects it. And then when you get to episode 10... you don't have Leia and Luke and Han and all these Skywalkers everywhere, but you have one person who's connected to the storyline of the past. Doesn't mean it has to be all about them, but you have somebody connected that we can all relate to. But they just screwed it up so bad, nobody can relate to her. And she's a Palpatine. So who even cares? Honestly, I think they should make a comedy movie where Palpatine does possess her. That, like, literally, make a comedy. And it's like a Venom with Eddie Brock, and Palpatine's possessing her, and she laughs like Palpatine and acts like Palpatine sometimes, but not all the time, just when he decides. Because there's nothing else you can do at this point. It's over. They've ruined it. Only option, decanonize everything. I've been saying it for a long time. Decanonize everything and start all the way back at the beginning of episode 7 and make it good. Anyways, guys, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.